everybody. Welcome back to the podcast Retro Life for You. My name is Chris Adams, host of the show. And this week here we have Mr. Travis Rollins, quote,
I
the
am the
nerd.
terror that flaps in the night.
Yeah, quote, the nerd who laughs, it
The
says here.
nerd who laughs. That's
Uh,
right.
Rollins.
Wait a minute, that's the wrong show too.
That's right, not quite as much of a Joker laugh as we're going to be discussing today.
I got it. Because he was on the show.
Scooby Doo was on the show?
No, Batman was on Scooby Doo.
Because that sure sounded like Scooby Doo. And it was Scooby Doo. Batman was on Scooby Doo.
Yes.
The old Scooby Doo cartoon movies, I think they called them.
Mm-hmm.
Those were always fun to watch. Different celebrities showing up each week. I think they had Batman and Robin on for two different episodes.
Yeah, they were on a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though. Of all the celebrities for the Scooby Doo movies, do you know who was on the most?
Dick Clark.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh yeah. They almost had like their whole they could have done like an entire season.
I mean, they had like three or four with them, but they're nowhere near as cool though. Was what we're talking about today.
No.
So today we're going to pick up and we're talking about Batman from 1989. We're talking about the initial Batman movie that kind of started it all for us. Michael Keaton is Batman. Okay.
Yes, I'm Batman.
A lot of people want to argue this and they say he's not the best Batman,
Yeah,
but they're wrong.
Yeah, that's it. That's not even a matter of opinion.
I mean, if he wasn't the best
It's
Batman,
factual.
then why is he on the new Flash movie playing Batman? I get it. Flash is going back in time, but you could have went back to another time and had a different Batman that played it before. But no,
Yeah.
they chose Michael
The
Keaton.
best Batman.
That's right. The best. Tell us, Travis, if you will. I believe you got the information pulled up. Tell us about the box office on this, when it came out, what it made, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so in 1989, when Tim Burton filmed this movie, it was a $35 million estimated budget. Opening weekend, we returned just under 5 million on that at 40,489,746. That's US and Canada only. So that's not too bad. But then the gross in US and Canada is 251 million and the gross in change. And the gross worldwide was 411,569,000, etc.
Etc., etc.
I would say that's a pretty good return, I would think.
Good haul for sure, no doubt. I mean, and the being the first one of its kind of. I'm trying to remember back in '89 when this came out. I don't think we really had any of the others yet, had we? I mean, other than Superman back in
No,
'78.
we had those couple little weirdo Spider-Man movies that were kind of trashy. I remember
But
watching.
but were those
They
the
only
ones
had
that were those the ones on television, or are you talking about like
Yeah,
the
they were the
Tobey
made for
Maguire?
TV movies that I
Yes,
remember watching.
exactly. Those are
He was like
crazy.
wearing pajamas.
Well, that was a TV show. It was actually it started out with a little bit on the electric company,
Yeah.
and then it went to its own TV show, and it was kind of cheesy. I remember watching it as a kid some. But then we had a couple of those TV movies, just like we had a TV Captain America, which was kind of crazy. The only good TV stuff we had was the Incredible Hulk.
Which was awesome.
Yes, it was. That was
Yeah,
pretty
we had
cool.
Lou Ferrigno.
Lou,
We didn't need CGI.
no, we had Lou Ferrigno. He was already huge. But I think
But yeah,
Batman though in
Christopher
'89 was the
Reeves was pretty
first.
much the only thing we had at the time. Christopher
Yeah,
Reeves was Superman as far as box office is concerned.
right. And we went all the way with Christopher Reeve up until what year? There was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. I forget what year that came out in. Mid '80s.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
I'd say
Quest
because
for
70,
Peace. See, I don't
78
remember which one that one would be.
78 was the first one. Two was in either 79 or 80. Three came out around 82, 83. So I'd say probably around 85, 86,
Yeah,
if I was guessing. I'm not looking at anything for sure. But I mean, if I was just taking a wild stab at it, I would say that.
I would say you're probably not very far off.
Matter of fact, I can actually tell you it's not that tough to do. Superman 4.
Superman 4 was that
Actually,
the last
1987.
1987. Okay.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve was in that one. Gene Hackman
Superman
still
4 is that
comprising
the
his
one
role.
where the other people from Krypton came down? The guy with the beard.
No, that was two where
That was
Zod come
two.
down.
Was
Four
that
is
Zod?
where, yeah. The
Okay.
General Zod. 4 is where Gene Hackman got a something. I think it was like a piece of Superman's hair that was on display at some museum or something, and created somebody they called Nuclear Man to take
Okay.
on Superman. It was not the best of Superman movies at all. Trust me. So if you don't
Right.
remember seeing it, 1 and 2 are the best, with 2 being the absolute best, I believe, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
Batman, though, I believe, since this was the first one other than Superman, Batman really started off a, I'd say a big deal there, a big thing, because we had, other than Batman, we had what was it just called Batman 2 with Danny DeVito playing the Penguin, or was it Batman
Batman
Returns?
Returns.
Batman
Batman Returns.
Returns. Then you
We
had
have
Batman and
Batman
Robin.
Returns. No, you have Batman
No,
Forever.
Batman Forever. Okay,
Batman Forever was in 95, and then Batman and Robin was in 97, and then we had
okay,
an hiatus until Batman Begins
okay.
in
And then that starts the
2000.
Dark Knight series.
Right, yeah.
Okay, because the ones previous, I don't think were really displaying the Dark Knight. It was more just crime fighting Batman. It wasn't like a darker
Yeah, and
side
then
of.
it got a little crazy because, so we're missing one somewhere. Hold on. No, Clooney was only Batman once, right?
Keaton was Batman,
Twice.
and you had
And then
Val
Val Kilmer
Kilmer and then
and then
Clooney.
Clooney.
Yeah, once a piece on them.
Okay, yeah. So Val was in Batman Forever, and then Clooney was Batman and Robin.
All right, so and then it makes sense. So, like I said, started a whole new thing for us. So we can really, if you think about it, a lot of people say we can thank Christopher Reeve and Superman for starting us off. But I mean, that was the only thing we had at the time that was really popular was Superman, until they started bringing Batman around. But Batman started really bringing more and more things out. You had Blade, which was
Yeah,
actually
Blade for me is Blade. We had Batman, but Batman and Superman were our two. That was our, and they were our staples.
Since we're talking about the two of them, did you see that our article several weeks ago that said they kind of confirmed in the comic book world anyway that the 78 Superman and the
Mhm.
89 Batman are the same multiverse?
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And I like the guy that played in the original 2000s Superman reboot. I can't remember the guy's name, but I thought he looked a lot like Christopher Reeves. I enjoyed that iteration of Superman.
Oh, was that Brendan Routh?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
It was like the first, like when they brought it back, they shot him in the eye with the bullet. That was so cool.
Yeah, Brendan Routh was the one that did it first.
Yeah, before Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Henry was perfect though.
Matter of fact, and they brought Brendan Routh into the Arrow TV show, and whenever they had the version, I think it was called Elseworlds, the crossover event,
Hmm.
Brandon Routh reprised his role as Superman from a different multiverse, as
Oh,
well as
cool.
playing the Atom and the one he was already a part of.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So
But yeah,
yeah, that was
and see after during that time though, when we had Batman going strong, um, there may have been a couple of things that came out, off the wall, but we didn't have any real comic heroes come out. And then when Spawn hit,
hmm
I fell in love. And then Blade, Spawn was 97 and Blade was 98, I think. And so you had one right after the other. And even though as much as I love Spawn and as much as I love Michael Jai White, dude, Blade, I've never went to the movies 7 times to see a movie. Blade, I went to the movies and paid to see that movie 7 different times.
the first Blade when it came out was something else. It was pretty awesome,
Incredible. Almost as incredible as Michael Keaton as Batman.
but not as good. Just almost.
Michael Keaton too, man. Michael Keaton is just one of my favorite actors, period.
Well, I said we would talk about this, and we got to the actors on the movie. Let's get to that for a second here. We had Michael Keaton playing Batman. We have what arguably people say was the best Joker in Jack Nicholson. We'll get on
Yeah.
that. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Kim Basinger is Vicky Vale. Robert Wool is Alexander Knox, the reporter. Harvey Dent was played by Billy D. Williams. Later
Yep.
on, he was replaced as obviously, I guess, aging. And of course, this is the Dark Knight series later on as
Yeah.
well. Jack Palance is as Grissom.
Hmm.
Uh, Pat Hingle is the Commissioner Gordon. I don't remember if Michael is it Go or Michael Guff? G
Uh,
Michael Gough. That's how you spell his last name.
Gough. I would think
Yes.
that's like Gaw.
Like, or
Gaw.
I mean, replace G with an R and it's rough.
Oh,
I
well, there you
mean,
go.
maybe it's Guff. I don't know.
It
Tracy
could be.
Walter. Tracy Walter has been in a number of things. You don't know the name probably, but you
Oh,
know him when you
the
see him.
Michael Go, who or however you say it, was our Alfred. He was our
Yes,
Alfred.
it was Alfred. Exactly. Now, like I said, Tracy Walter, you may not know this guy by name, but you know him by face when you see him. He played Bob Lagoon.
Yeah.
All right, but he's been in other movies over the years.
Hmm.
He was in Aaron Brockovich. He was one of the guys that was telling her all about the factory dumping stuff they should be dumping.
Yeah.
Um, man, I am drawing a blank. I'm going to click on his name. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to sound like I was, Conan the Destroyer. He was,
Conan the Destroyer.
yeah, he was Malik.
Right, Malik. He was the character that was the comic relief that replaced the wizard from Conan the
Yeah,
Barbarian.
he was Cookie in City Slickers. He was in Repo
Oh,
Man.
Cookie, dude! I just watched City Slickers like 6 months ago again.
That's a great movie
I
as
love
well.
that movie.
But yeah, uh, he's got small parts in so many different things. He was in Reno 911 for a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, did something about Ted Bundy. Uh, Nash Bridges on different TV appearances as well, like Nash Bridges.
Right.
There's Aaron Brockovich, A Man on the Moon,
Well,
Mighty Joe Young.
Robert Wool that played Alexander Knox is kind of the same kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know
He
his
was
face when you see him, but you don't really know it when you hear it exactly.
right. He was the one that was kind of in Adrian Cronauer's corner in Good Morning Vietnam, kind of co-hosting with Adrian there at the
Yes,
beginning.
yes,
And yeah. He was in Moonlighting, Flashdance, Batman, of course, Bodyguard. He was hosting the Oscars in the Bodyguard. Uh, he was in Blue Chips as Marty, and then he's been in a lot of other stuff too. But what he's probably best known as is he was Arliss, dude. I don't know if you ever
yes,
watched
yes. He
Arliss, but
was.
yeah, he was Arliss.
Exactly. I completely forgot about that show.
Yeah.
Now, the guy I just mentioned to you, also the movie you're gonna know him from yourself personally, if you think about it, other than Cookie I mentioned earlier. Do you remember Beaver from Young Guns 2?
Yes.
That was
Yes.
him. That was him
Yes.
as well.
Heck yeah.
So I mean, it's been in the movie's got some great, and we all know what Jack Palance. Speaking of Young Guns,
Yeah.
you
We know
know,
he sold Aquavelva.
he's so cool,
Cool.
refreshing.
Refreshing. Aqua. Go.
You can't even finish it.
Uh-uh.
Come on,
He had that
Aquavelva.
breathe, man. He was like Darth Vader on his breathing apparatus or something.
Something like he needed it.
Yeah.
Philip Tan played one of the goons. Philip Tan's been in an extra in a lot of movies, and it's
Hmm.
usually something to do with like an Asian gang of some sort, or uh,
Yeah. He was okay. This dude. Yeah. Philip Tan. He was a yakuza. He was a main
yeah,
character in something I watched not real long ago. I swear. Bullet Train. It was Bullet Train, the new movie with
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt in it. Yeah. He was. Where is he at? Well, it's showing him, it's crediting in him, but I'm not seeing his character in here. But anyway, I knew the face. That's what I remembered it from right there because I knew I'd just seen it recently.
Right, and that's the whole point I was making earlier. There's a lot of faces in here that you know, but
Hmm.
you may not know their names. But you've seen them in so many things because they're good character actors. They've been in all kinds of TV shows and spots, different movies, supporting roles and stuff like that. Michael Keaton, Batman's not the only comic book character he has played.
No,
He also played in the recent Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. He played the Vulture.
he did,
So
and
he's played on both sides.
He was also in a movie that was, I thought it was really good. It gets made fun of some, but it's almost parody of the character of who he would have. I guess the character of Michael Keaton as Batman, but it's called Birdman. And it's kind of like down and out actor and stuff. It's kind of him making fun of himself a little bit.
Yeah, I have not heard of that one. I'm not. Is he the
Oh
only
yeah.
person? I don't think he is. I think there's one other. But is he the only person to play in both a DC comic movie and a Marvel?
Oh, surely not.
Chris Evans has played two different characters, but both Marvel.
Right. Well, James Gunn, but he didn't play nobody. He just messed up the.
See, but he's not playing one of the superheroes.
True.
He just
Surely not. There's got to be. I'd have to sit down and really think about that. But off the top of my head, I could like that would be hard to. I'm not sure about that
I was just thinking to myself. I mean, I think he's the only one that I can think of that's done both DC and Marvel.
until we get Willem Dafoe to play the Joker. Then he'll be
If that
number two.
if that happens, yeah.
That needs to happen. That
Kim
needs to happen.
Basinger's been all over the
No,
movies.
I know he's not because you know who I was thinking of? The guy that
No.
plays Jack Reacher.
Okay, and you're talking about not in the like, not Tom Cruise in the movie, but the Amazon series.
Yes, the good one.
So he played in
He
Teen
was
Titans.
okay. He was in Titans as Hawk and
Hmm.
Dove, right? And then
Right?
no, he wasn't in Marvel. He was in Smallville as Aquaman. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
He played the Aquaman character in Smallville, or
you're
what would
right.
become Aquaman.
You're right. So right now we'll go with Michael Keaton. If anybody's listening and you know anybody else has done it, let us know because we're not
Yeah,
entirely sure. That'd be something you could. It'd be a great comment to leave. I'll put a question up for it. Maybe you guys can answer that one and put it out there for us.
yeah, that would be a neat one.
We know Kim Basinger's been all over the map when it comes to movies. 9.5 weeks. Everything from 9.5 weeks up to playing Rabbit's mom on 8 Mile.
Right?
We got her here in Batman as Vicky Vale.
Getting all nasty with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams as Harvey
Billy
Dent.
D,
Billy
that's
D.
Lando,
Williams.
man. That's Lando
Yeah, I
Calrissian.
mean
I don't know who the
that's
hell.
exactly that's who we know Billy D. Williams as. We don't. I mean, well, that and the Colt 45 commercials.
Colt 45.
But I mean, the biggest thing he'd ever done that I know of was Lando Calrissian in the Star Wars series,
Yeah.
and that was a great character. Cloud City,
And
taking
didn't he
over,
sing?
jumping in.
Ain't that what he was famous for? Didn't he sing or something?
No, I know what you're thinking of too.
What am I
If he
thinking
did,
of?
I know if he did sing, I don't know, but a lot of people used to get him confused with Ray Parker Jr. singing
Maybe that's
Ghostbusters.
what it is. Oh, going back to real quick back to Kim Basinger. If y'all hadn't seen it, it's like an adult version of Roger Rabbit. It's called Cool World. It's got her in it and Brad Pitt when he was real young. It's an awesome movie if you dig that kind of stuff. It's kind of the same premise as not really. They weren't anybody destroying tunes, but Brad Pitt was a detective and all, and Kim Basinger was a nightclub singer, and then they bring her back to the real world. But it was a really cool movie that she was in.
He said, "Bring her back to the real world." Is it?
Yeah, they
I
brought her
haven't
back
seen it.
like physical. So she was a cartoon. She was a
Oh, yeah, that's
tune,
what
and
I'm,
then
that's what I'm
they
asking. Did it
like
start out as a cartoon?
yeah, she started out as a tune,
Okay,
and
because I have not
he
seen the
was
movie.
yeah. Oh, it's cool. You should go back and check it out. Cool. Yeah, Cool World's pretty awesome.
Well, let's go ahead and get to the meat of it here. Jack Nicholson is a Joker.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, I was just telling Travis earlier. I watched Batman earlier today and partly yesterday and finished it today. But this is the first time I've watched the 1989 version of Batman in a long time. I had forgotten how good Jack Nicholson is as the Joker. A lot of
Yeah.
people make the argument. They say that Heath Ledger is the one and only Joker.
I feel like that's a generational thing. Heath Ledger was brilliant and he was amazing, but there's also a thing I feel about it that you can't play. You know, I feel like if you're gonna be Batman, Batman is kind of Batman. You know, but the Joker, if you're gonna follow anyone who's done the Joker before, you have to do it differently. I saw a thing one time. I guess it was like a meme. It was kind of like a chart where
Hmm.
it's got the psychotic one, the crazy one, the uh, sociopath. So like Jared Leto's was the sociopath. You know, so it's got all the different actual uh, uh, mental disorders that each person who played the Joker had. It's a really neat thing.
Well, the original Joker, Cesar Romero, was not bad in the TV series.
No,
He
absolutely not.
he he played it really well. He played just a very comical kind of Joker who was always high stepping everywhere he went. It seemed like, and Jack Nicholson seemed to kind of pick up on that version of it. I thought as well,
He did.
because he's doing crazy stuff like that, and acting a little silly and goofy, but then gets serious on a note and says funny things like I mentioned to you earlier, where he's dancing around with Vicky Vale, and he goes, "Ah, yes, the Beauty and the Beast," and if anybody else calls you Beast, I'll rip their lungs out.
Right.
You know, the little subtle funny stuff like he also while he's dancing with her, I think it's when he's dancing with her. No, that's not the part. She's hanging on the ledge where they thought he had fallen off the side, and they peer over, and he landed on the ledge, and he pulls both of them over, and he reaches down to her and says, "Let me give you a hand," and she grabs it, and the whole hand falls out of his sleeve. It was a fake
Right.
hand there the whole time. Little subtle things like that he does throughout it. It's just funny to me. It just made me laugh.
It is. He was brilliant in it. I found the photo I was talking about. One of them. It's kind of like it says the prankster, the gangster, the sociopath, the lunatic, the anarchist, the sadist, the maniac, the psychopath. So it's like it's got each one of them, and it's honest to God, it's a pretty clear. It's pretty spot on as to if you look at the way that they are.
What is your favorite thing that you've seen Jack Nicholson in?
Ooh, really?
Hey, favorite movie? I mean, we're talking about Batman, obviously, and him playing the Joker, but we've mentioned everybody else's other movies they've been in. What's your favorite Nicholson movie?
Man, honestly, dude, it's gonna have to be. Mine. I got. It's gonna be a toss up, but I got a three-way tie.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one for
I
sure.
got a three-way tie. A
I
hundred
got
percent.
I got about two, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Mine's gonna be. Oh, that's hard, man. That's hard. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Jack in The Shining, and my number two. I'm gonna just edge out One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for The Witches of Eastwick. He
Okay.
was Daryl Van Horn in The Witches of Eastwick. He basically played the devil in that. I remember watching that as man. I watched that. I watched that last year as well again for the first time since I was a preteen with my mom. And that movie's that movie is just great. It's so funny. Oh, he was good in A Few Good Men too. And
See,
Wolf, I really liked Wolf.
yeah,
So I mean, dude, I don't know.
I've
I'm
got
about to go with them. The Joker, the Joker, Witches of Eastwick, and The Shining.
I've got two. He's not the main star of the first one, which you brought up already. A Few Good Men. He's one of the main stars, but I mean, it's not like it focuses merely on him. When I
Mm-hmm.
think of the main stars of that movie, I think of Tom Cruise. I think of Demi Moore, and then
Yeah,
Jack Nicholson. The three of them, but it's more or less a Tom Cruise relevant movie. I think when you're talking about it, because he's the main character, being the lawyer defending the guys and trying to find out the truth of what's going on. But Jack Nicholson stole the movie with his speech at the end of it on the stand
oh, 100%.
when
I
he's
told you
talking about,
he steals any movie he's in.
yeah. And then the other one for me, I'm trying to think. I think it's called The Departed.
Oh my god, I forgot about that one with
I mean, how could you?
Leo
Yeah, how
and
could you forget about The
oh
Departed?
dude, that was an incredible movie.
It
That
was
movie was
full of
so
names,
good.
man. Full of names.
Yeah, it was star studded and it had so many twists and turns that just kept you messed up.
Yeah, you
And
couldn't.
remember too though, we got to bow down because Jack is the Easy Rider.
Easy Rider.
He was in the, he was the, he's the Easy Rider.
He had
He was in Easy Riders.
A movie with Helen Hunt that was pretty good as
As
well.
good as it gets. That
As
was
good
on
as
my
it,
list.
yes,
I
as good as
love
it
that movie.
gets.
I
Uh,
loved him as Buddy in Anger Management.
I started to say
Gustava.
anger. Yeah, I was going to say anger management. Don't forget that one. So, I mean, he's had some great stuff. It's hard to pick a good one with him, a favorite one, but he did the Joker just so well. Do you know who else was offered the role of the Joker in that movie?
Oh, at the time, I do not. I do not. I'm not
Robin Williams.
really. I'm glad they went with. I'm glad they went with who they went with because I feel like Robin would have took it too far to the goofy side. As much as Robin is my guy.
It says Robin Williams was offered the role of Joker when Jack Nicholson hesitated. He had even accepted the role when producers approached Nicholson again and told him Williams would take the part if he did not. So
Mhm.
Nicholson took the role, and Williams was released. Williams resented being used as bait and not only refused to play the Riddler in Batman Forever, but also refused to be involved in any Warner Brothers productions again until the studio apologized. He would have been
Ooh.
great as the Riddler.
I think so too, but what kills me about that though is that the Riddler the Riddler to me was more of he was more finesse in the comics, you know. So to bring him straight out goofy, funny, crazy, the Riddler was a genius. Yeah, Edward E. Nigma was a genius, and the way that they did it, which we'll get to that movie further along in the series,
Well,
but the
hold,
way
hold
that they
on, hold on. No, it wasn't Edward Enigma. It was just Edward Nigma,
Edward Nigma,
and he
that's
would
right,
use it.
Edward
He would use his
Enigma,
first initial, and it would be
that's
Enigma.
what it was,
Yeah.
Enigma, yeah. So the way that they did it with uh, Jim Carrey, which I loved the way that they did it, but at the same time, I always felt like that the Riddler should have been more. The guy that played him on the Gotham series, the way he plays the Riddler is
Yes.
that's to me that's the most true to the comics that I remember growing up reading.
And I thought he did a good job of it. The Gotham TV series, or if you guys have not watched it, is well worth the watch. And
Oh yeah,
my only regret of it is it only went for 4 seasons.
yeah. I could have handled much more of that, and it was as good as Alfred is the show Alfred. It was
Yeah.
better than Alfred
Yes.
by a mile.
Yes, and the whole thing with it, you have a young Bruce Wayne. He's not even, when it first starts, not even a teenager at this point, not an older teenager, but
His parents
you
had just
see,
died.
yeah, and you see where eventually he befriends Selena Kyle, who becomes Catwoman later on.
Hmm.
You see the younger version of Joker, but they don't call him Jack Napier. It's just Jerome, I think, isn't it?
Jerome, yeah, and he was that kid is incredible too. He plays on Shameless. And
Yes.
yeah, he was incredible. That was one of my favorite iterations of the Joker as well. Everyone that they've done on there, um, even though I don't like her no more, Will Smith's wife,
Yeah.
playing Fish Mooney.
Hey, keep Will Smith's wife's name
It is
out your
right.
mouth.
I'm gonna call
Okay.
her Fish Mooney. That's who she was, Fish Mooney. But
Yeah.
yeah, what makes the show so great was it shows everybody's rise. It shows everybody. It even has Solomon Grundy in it. Come on, but
Yes.
it shows everybody coming up. So Gordon wasn't even he was just a detective at the time. It
Right.
shows him rising to captain and
And really and
commissioner. And
truly, if you think about it, Gotham is more based on him than it
oh yeah,
is.
yeah, it's about Gordon.
Yeah, it's all about Jim Gordon and his partners and the police force in and fighting the crime at the times before it got so bad that you needed Batman to be a part of it.
Hmm. That's
And,
why
oh,
before we
and
had the supervillains, we still had the crime families. The
right. And
supervillains were just coming
although
around.
although we didn't have a supervillain yet, who was the best villain on the series?
Victor Zaz,
That's there you go.
and
That's
wasn't he?
what.
He was my pick to play Skeletor, wasn't he? In
Yes,
He
that was
Man.
one. He was one of your picks for Skeletor. If you could have picked anybody else in Batman to play the Riddler other than Jim Carrey, who would you have picked? And
Ooh,
let's just eliminate Robin Williams because he turned it down and wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't have liked it. I don't think I would. I don't think I want to see Robin Williams as a villain in any of my comics. I cannot think of a fitting place to put him. Uh, I can't
So who would you put?
as the Riddler.
Yeah,
Man, now I can't get. Now I can't get.
I had one person picked out in
What's his
mind.
name? Eddie. What's his name? The guy that played Zaz.
No, I can't think of his actual name. He would have been a
He
good
would.
Riddler though.
I don't know. I think that guy. His sense of humor. He brings. Anthony Kerrigan is his name. Uh, his whole demeanor, man. That dude can do anything. I was just watching. I was telling you about it. The serial killer show with Bill Hader, where he don't want to be a. It's not a serial killer. He's a hitman, and he doesn't want to be a hitman anymore.
Yeah.
And man, Anthony Kerrigan plays one of the Russian mafia dudes in there, and he's like, hey, God Almighty is so good. But oh man, my Riddler, I need. Um, I would have to do some thinking about that. Off the top of my head, see, I haven't got messed up with Anthony Kerrigan now. I think maybe the guy that played number one. on the shoot. What was the show where the alien came down and got the kids? They had powers, and he named 1, 2, 3, 4 based on their daggum.
I am number 4 or something like that.
No, 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 not that. That's a movie. I'm thinking, is this a Netflix show? The Umbrella Academy.
Oh,
The
okay.
Umbrella Academy. The guy that played on the Umbrella Academy. Hang on, and I will tell you his name.
Yeah, I haven't
He's
watched
also
Umbrella
been in
Academy.
he's been in a few other things since too. He's really really good dude. He's big though. See, that's the only thing that might throw me off is he's pretty buff. He's a pretty big fella. Tom Hopper is his name.
Okay.
He plays Luther Hardgreaves.
I think if I was picking one person out to kind of play the role, who's of the same size and stature of Jim Carrey and even the guy that played Edward Nygma in Gotham, and he can play a peculiar role because he did in Charlie's
Oh,
Angels.
now if I can go with the guy from Gotham, I would totally take
Oh
him.
no,
Yeah, I
I
think he's
mean,
my perfect Riddler.
well, I mean, technically you could if you want to. I mean, but
Yeah,
the thing is, he wasn't really around at that time to play him,
right.
so we got to think more or less around that time.
Oh,
So
okay,
I
okay. Then I
know
want Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Hey, well, hey, why not?
Oh,
I mean, Robin Williams, Billy
yeah,
Crystal,
then I
why
want
not?
Billy Crystal then.
Crispin Glover.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I'm
Yeah,
thinking, George McFly from Back to the
I'm in
Future. He
100% agreement with you.
did Charlie's Angels as the weird guy that yanked the hair out and sniffed the hair.
Yes, that's when I think of Crispin Glover. That's the dude I think of.
Yeah, the
I think of
weirdo.
his. I think of his character in Charlie's Angels, and I think he would make a perfect Riddler. And in that time frame too, that would have been a good one.
One of the things that I really liked with this first Batman coming out is we get our first glimpse of a new modern day Batmobile. Now, I've always been a fan of the original Batmobile from the TV series back in the day. But I mean, this is new and modernized and everything for what we had in the late '80s. I like that the fact they brought in the Bat jet and showed some of that
Yeah, when
as
it
the
came up
series
into the
into the
moon and they did
moon.
the
Yeah,
silhouette.
exactly that was cool right there. It looked just like the bat symbol, but it was in front of the moon. As the series went on, and you got Batman Returns and Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, they bring in more and more stuff like the Bat
Yeah.
Cycle,
Well,
the boat.
we don't do the video no more, but that's what I was showing Chris earlier. I got the
Oh no,
Batman Forever
oh no,
Batmobile.
we don't be
Yeah.
fooled, people. We got video, okay,
Oh.
but
Oh yeah, we got video, but we're not live streaming like we used to.
right, but we are gonna take the videos
Ooh.
and put them up one day soon. That's gonna happen eventually.
Brr, 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 brr,
And then you can
brr.
see Travis playing with his
Brr, brr, brr,
toys.
brr, brr.
That'll be a clip right there. Travis playing with his toys. Let's mark that down to 34-minute mark of the podcast.
There you go.
Travis plays with toys.
Travis plays
Okay.
with toys. There we
Yeah.
go.
So and he can
You
see
got to
me
put
right.
that in
He can
there.
see me right now. Y'all can't see me, but he can see me. I'm writing that down. 34-minute mark. Travis
Okay,
plays with toys.
I've got one to rival Crispin Go. Since I can't agree with you, we have to have choices.
All
I've
right.
got one to rival Crispin Glover as the Riddler.
Give it to me.
I am stronger. I'm fast. I can't do. See, I can't do him. Malkovich, dude. I need John Malkovich.
Ooh.
I like John
Okay.
Malkovich
I mean, you know what? I mean, he's very versatile in what he does. I can give you that.
in the way he talks
The
and
way
like
he
that.
did
It's like kind of
Cyrus the
weird,
Virus in Con Air, the way he did that character,
right?
that kind of makes you think about something like that. I mean,
Hmm.
he can talk normal, he can be mean and vicious, he can be sarcastic,
And
like
he can be unbelievably intellectual.
right.
The movie that he was in with Matt Damon, Rounders, where he played the Ruski.
Yeah.
Dude, he was incredible in that. And then in Man in the Iron Mask as not Porthos. Um, darn it, he was the one that his son died. Porthos. Why is that the only Musketeer I can remember now?
There's three of
Athelios,
them. There's three of them.
Porthos, Athelios, or Athos. Yeah, Porthos, Athos, D'Artagnan, and there was another. And the other one is the one he is. He wasn't Athos. or Porthos.
the other
Porthos
one,
was the big one.
the other one
Athos was
was
the priest.
I think the other one was called nougat. No,
Nougat.
no, no. That's what's in the candy bar. My bad. It's all Three Musketeers. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
anyway, uh,
Anyway,
we're getting way off topic and goofy here.
Aramis. He
Uh,
was Aramis.
Aramis, yes, okay.
It's Porthos, Athos, Aramis, and D'Artagnan.
And that's information that I did not know. Actually, I've seen
Me
the Three Musketeers, but I mean, I don't remember any of this stuff though. And the Three
Well,
Musketeers I saw
you
is
know.
probably different than what you're talking about. I mean, I watched the one with Oliver Platt in it and Kiefer Sutherland and Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, that was the Three Musketeers. The Man in the Iron Mask is a much better movie. I hate to say it, but because at the time when it came out, it was Leonardo and all the girls wanted it. It's like I'm not gonna. And then it was actually a really good movie.
Yeah. Did what did you think about the part? I mean, Harvey Dent didn't have a big role to play as the DA or anything
Well,
in this
see,
movie.
okay, so this is the issue that I have with Billy D as Harvey Dent. Billy D is far too smooth to play Harvey Dent, man. Harvey was supposed to be, or no, 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 no. I'm thinking I'm wrong on that. I'm not thinking of Harvey Dent. Let me stop myself because that becomes Two Face. I was thinking of Sergeant Bullock. So I love Billy D as Harvey Dent. Actually, I would have liked to have seen how he would have handled the role formed into Two Face. I was
I,
about to say that because I was thinking of Sergeant Bullock. Remember Sergeant Bullock?
no,
You don't remember Sergeant Bullock? He's huge in the shows. He was in the shows and then in Gotham and then so when I saw that I thought of Bullock. I didn't even think of
I mean, I'll probably know it if I see if I go
Harvey
back
Dent.
and look and be like,
Harvey
oh,
Dent
how could
was
I forget that? But but
Harvey was the lawyer. He was more than a lawyer. What do they call it? The DA.
yeah, the DA.
Yeah. No, I loved him as the DA then.
Now, I don't know if you know about how much money people made making this movie, but I'm looking at
Uh-uh.
something with Jack Nicholson. How much money do you think Jack Nicholson took home from making the movie?
Jack with a budget of
Keep,
35 million. I think
keep in
they made
mind, this is
5
a
million off the top.
5 million, 5 million. Jack Nicholson received a percentage of the gross on the film,
Oh Lord have mercy. He was smart.
and due to its massive box office take, he took home around $60 million.
Good God.
When you're adjusting for inflation, this equals roughly to in 2022 to 143,359,355 dollars.
Dude.
See, he was Robert Downey
Wow.
Jr. before the Avengers got here because that's what RDJ did in the Avengers. He wanted a percentage because he knew it was going to be huge.
Dang.
Is that not a
Yeah.
ton of movie? Jack Nicholson also said of his role, the thing I like about the Joker is that his sense of humor is completely tasteless. He later said the Joker was one of his favorite roles he ever played.
Yeah. Yeah. But Jack's crazy like that. Jack's funny like that, man. He's weird.
I mean, it's weird how he can be funny and humorous, but then nail the seriousness of something too. Because
Yeah.
I always fall back to A Few Good Men
And he can
with
turn it on a dime.
right. I mean, and when you talk to A Few Good Men, he's giving the story of how you want me on that wall, you need me on that wall, and he's just spitting it all out just like that. I mean, he is so intense and like he's dead serious about it. And they did that one bit that he did
Hmm.
quite a few times until he was happy with how it sounded. He wanted to make sure he had it absolutely 100% nailed.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. There's a really cool TikTok going around where Matt Damon is talking about doing The Departed with Jack. And he said, you know what would be cool? He said, we could stop there. But if we, yeah, and he kept on just making this scene more and more and more, and they went with it. They're like, yeah, let's use Jack's ideas. And so he turned around. It was the scene where they were by the shore with the body, and kill the girl. I don't. It's
Uh-huh.
been a long time since I've seen it, but but yeah, Jack was just, and hearing other people talk about him, um, he was actually something that we don't think of when we think of him. He's huge on improvisation too. So he would improv, he would ad lib a lot and
Yeah.
improv a lot. A master, one of the masters.
Michael Keaton was unable to hear while wearing the bat suit. He said
Yeah.
that his claustrophobia helped him get him in the proper mood to play Batman too. He said it made me go inward, and that's how I wanted to play the character anyway. I wanted him to be withdrawn.
Hmm.
Um, it's just these little bits and pieces that you end up reading on IMDb and online and stuff. I find a lot of this interesting, like people who missed the roles or turned down the roles, the little
Oh
tidbits
yeah,
behind the
absolutely.
scenes.
That's like I don't remember like when we were talking to the fabulous Mary Catherine Stewart when I found out that she had lost the Highlander role. That was something that I just dug up out of an old YouTube interview that I ran across. You know what I mean? I didn't see any of that on there's stuff that's floating around out there too. That's just it's so interesting because I remember when I told you about it. It's like I have to know what happened here. And if you all listening want to know, it's on the episode where
Yes,
we originally interviewed Catherine Mary Stewart.
you can just go back to the original Catherine Mary Stewart interview and pick up on the good things we talked about, like the apple,
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Brady,
Caleb Brady.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
A little
last
bit of Bernie.
Starfighter that I always work into every
The
episode if I
last
can. You
Starfighter.
notice I slid that in there for sure.
Oh yeah, we had to.
I mean,
And she's still working. She just had another. She just had a movie drop. Last year was it? Yeah, it was the end of last year. It just came out.
in the last year, I think it's Hallmark
Yeah,
or the other one. What's the other one? Hallmark,
yeah,
just Lifetime.
something like
One of
that.
the
Yeah,
it's
Hallmark. I think it
one
might
of
have
the
been
two.
Lifetime.
This is one of the two. She has a lot of actually a few movies on there. Um,
Hmm.
Jack Nicholson loved his performance so much in this film. At one point, he was watching the film once a week at his house.
That's crazy.
It's like that's like I love our performance so much, Travis, that I listen to our podcast at least 2 3 times a
At
week.
least 2 or 3 times a week.
I mean,
It's so funny too because you hear other people say, "I don't watch my work. I don't listen to my songs. I don't watch my own movies." I listen to
of
our the
course,
podcast we do together. I
of
listen to
course.
all of the
I mean, in my case, it's because I'm editing. But
Yeah, right.
I have been known to take a listen or two to see how some things turned out with the final edit. When I'm bored and got nothing else to do, and I
I like
listen
one of
to
the
it, Travis, and I say, "Man, is that really how I sound?" Oh
Yeah,
God.
we all do that. We all do
It's
that.
a good thing I don't watch the YouTube video. I'll be hitting the screen with something. Man, do I really look that way?
Get the baseball
Is
bat
that
out.
a glare off my head? What
I
light?
like
What lighting was that?
right. I like how Michael Keaton said that his background in comedy, like it was his idea when him and Vicky were in at the table, and it was like you could have set 47 people there. You know, it's just
Yes.
so long, and he's like looking around. It's kind of an awkward moment. He said, "I don't think I've ever been in this room before." And then they end up like eating in front of the fireplace and all,
Yeah.
or no, they ended up going down. Didn't they eat with Alfred, or
I
they went to the kitchen? It
I think they
seems
went to the
like
kitchen. But the funny thing is she was like, she had to put her hands over her mouth like she's yelling at someone, going, "Can you please pass the salt?"
right. Yeah, yeah. It was so good.
That was crazy. Uh, Now there were speaking of names of people who were considered for roles. Harvey Dent,
Hmm.
Don Johnson, Dale Midkiff, and William Peterson were considered for Harvey Dent. Billy D. Williams took the role with the expectation that he'd be brought back to play Two Face, and reportedly had a contract clause added reserving the role for him. During casting for Batman Forever, Warner Brothers decided they preferred Tommy Lee Jones and bought out Williams' contract.
And
Williams
see,
Williams voiced the character in the Lego Batman movie.
well, see,
Did you know that? You
I
said
didn't know that.
you like to see him play the character, so there's your chance. Go to the
Yeah,
Lego Batman movie and listen to the voice of Two
right.
Face, and that's Billy D.
Well, see, the thing too, and this is something we'll come back around on when we do Batman Forever, is the thing that I didn't like about that movie in particular. It had nothing to do with the casting. It was the fact that they made Two Face and Riddler too much like each other. Like Two Face shouldn't have been the comical maniacal maniac that he was, because Two Face was never like that. I think Billy D would have been awesome because Billy D was so smooth, and Don Johnson might have been okay. I don't know how much I would have liked him as Two Face, but I would have been interested to see Billy D as Two Face, because you know what I mean. Because I don't know
Yeah,
that I can recall seeing him bust loose or something. You know.
Right. Do you know now? Okay, 1989. So I don't know if you know if you off the top of your head think of any of the big blockbusters from '89.
Mhm.
But what was the highest grossing movie of 1989?
Oh, that's Indiana Jones.
Oh, so you already know then.
I know that. I know that much at least.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was the highest grossing movie. Batman came second.
Oh heck yeah! See, I didn't know that, but I knew Indiana Jones was the highest one.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd forgotten it was '89 when that came out. But I mean, this movie leading up to, I mean, I can't wait to get to the second one.
Right.
When we because this is what we're gonna do, everybody. Just so you know, we're touching on Batman, the first one today. We're gonna do this as a series, like we're doing Lord of the Rings. So we'll come back eventually, and we'll have Batman Returns for another episode. Um, we had, oh my gosh, hang on one second here.
Well, while you're looking it up too, I also think it's funny. Tim Burton is recorded saying, "I liked parts of it, but the whole movie, is mainly boring to me. It's okay, but it's more of a cultural phenomenon than a great movie." Like he didn't
Like
like
he didn't like
what?
his own
Like
work or
come
something.
on, bro! Like this is the best Batman movie. How
So
can you say that?
I kind of look forward to the second one because former guest on the show here, Travis McKenna, played in the second Batman, the Batman Returns movie.
Oh yeah,
So that's going to be fun when it comes out. I'm going to tag him on it, and I'm going to ask him if he's got anything he'd like to, and you know, any comments on it that he might want to send in to us or something.
that would be super
We
cool.
can include in the show. But you know, he did. He played one of the clowns, the big clown.
Yeah.
I think the
See,
Joker
that's a
ended up
moment
shooting.
we didn't talk about either, and I had mentioned this to Chris beforehand. Um, with it coming out in '89, I'm an '80s baby. I was born in 1980, so here I am, 19 years old, watching this and looking back on it, watching it grown or even as a teenager because I've watched it throughout my life. It's funny to me how many jokes I didn't get as a child. Like, look, and it's not just this; it's like a lot of things. But like when he said this town needs an enema, I can clearly remember looking at my dad saying, "What's an enema?" He's like, "That's that thing they put in your butt at the hospital to make you go poo." And I was like, well, "Okay, I know exactly what that is. I have meningitis. I don't know what that is." But yeah, like the moment when he pulled out, dude, you know how many times we've done that, like growing up as kids playing make believe. When he pulled that pistol out of his pants, and it was like it was like an elephant gun. It was
Oh
like
my
a yellow
gosh!
stick,
I
and,
mean,
and he shot the bat wing down.
yeah, 3 foot
Like
long
there's
barrel
been
on it.
so many times we've done that, like with a stick or something.
Then
Like,
he has that same gun he's got on Vicky Vales. He's taking her up to the top where the bell is in that tower. And he
and it
reaches up
says
and he just
bang.
closes it down like it's a telescopic barrel, pushes
Oh
it back
yeah,
down in
I was
place and
thinking of the other one that
grabs
said
the gun.
bang.
Well, so no, I think it was the same gun though, or he
Yeah.
put it away and pulled another one out. But it looked like he said, "When I think of not going on with you or being without you, I just can't. I can't take it. I want to end it all." He goes pop, and it's just she screams, and it comes out and just says bang on it. He starts laughing and throws it down.
You know what's a marvel to me? And I know we hadn't got to talking about Michael Keaton, but we got a whole other movie to gush over Michael Keaton on. But um, just thinking about the movie right while we're sitting here talking, one of the most amazing things to me was what kind of makeup did they use? This was just a piece of the special effects when remember he looked normal, but when he went to wash his face off, it went back to the way that they made it was the chemicals had altered his skin to where the smile and the white that wasn't paint, that was supposed to be his skin, so he was washing off people makeup to reveal the white back underneath.
Yeah,
Do you remember that moment?
yeah.
It was
Uh huh.
like, how did they, like, what? That was crazy.
Hey, movie
That
magic,
was
man.
some good movie magic back then. Because I mean, like, what kind of paint did they use that didn't scrub off with the base? I guess
I'm reading here at around the hour 25-minute mark. Jack Nicholson revealed in an interview that the strange dance the Joker does when he exits Vicky Vale's apartment, when he
Mhm.
raises his arms, makes a
Yeah.
farting noise and runs off, was something called the bird dance, which he improvised during the take. He took it from his friend Clegg Hoyt. You were talking about improvisation a while ago that he does.
Right.
There's you a perfect prime example of it right there.
Heck yeah.
Now, this is something that some of our friends would and would definitely appreciate. Since we have a couple of buddies here between us that are car guys, the
Hmm.
Batmobile was built on the chassis of a Chevy Impala
Yep.
and incorporated the engine of an Impala, the tail lights of a Ferrari, the fuel caps of London bus, and jet engine parts from a Harrier jump jet. The
Yup.
sliding cockpit was also inspired by that of a Harrier, with the slim windows of a gun emplacement. It says art director Terry Ackland Snow added the headlights of a Honda Civic to the vehicle after noticing them on his wife's car. Talk about
No
a
kidding.
monster mash of a car there, man.
No
It's like,
kidding. That's Johnny Cash's 1951, 52, 53,
oh
54,
my gosh, I was just
56.
thinking the same thing. I was just thinking the same thing.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I hope there's a lot of
So
people that get that reference out there.
I know. So to gush over Keaton a little bit more, um, he was in a real cool movie that I find a lot of people haven't seen. It's called The Dream Team, and it came out the exact same year as Batman.
Yeah,
Came out in 1989.
that Christopher
And
Lloyd in it with him, and
yes,
yeah.
yes, Christopher Lloyd, Peter Boyle, and
And they were people from an insane asylum.
Stephen First. Yeah, so they're taking him to a ball game.
Yeah,
Uh, they're in the insane asylum, and they're taking him. Is it a Yankees game? I think it's the Yankees or the Mets, one of the two.
I
I
can't
think
remember
that's actually
which.
part of the story. They're arguing over. I think one of like they're fans of both. But anyway, something happens to their chaperone, if you will, and they all of a sudden they just go on a tirade across the whole daggum. Like they're just driving the bus around all over the place. It's so good.
Oh yeah, it was a funny movie for
All
sure. Now,
kinds of mischief
but look, Michael
ensues.
Keaton had some great movies before. Gung Ho, what
Yeah,
was he like? Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom was a
I
crazy
mean,
good one. Of course, you had Beetle Geist in 1988, which
everybody
we've been
knows.
waiting on a sequel to since.
Yeah, everybody knows him the most from there. I think if it's not Batman, it's Beetlejuice. One of the
Yeah,
two.
if it ain't Batman, it's Beetlejuice. It was in also. There's another good movie. A lot of people dog on this one, but I thought it was good. Multiplicity.
Yes,
I enjoyed Multiplicity.
I had forgotten about that. It's been a while from that one.
Hmm.
Definitely
He
good. There was another movie he did. Oh gosh, was he a firefighter in a movie?
well, he was in One Good Cop, which is a really good movie with Rene
Yes.
Russo.
No, that was good. I for some reason I'm picturing him in some kind of a movie. I don't know if he was like a firefighter that got killed or something, and his son years later can talk to him via.
Was that My Life?
No, I might be thinking of that might be somebody else other
Yeah,
than
it sounds
him.
like you're thinking of the. That sounds almost like Frequency with it. Where
Frequency.
yeah, that was a Quaid. That was Dennis
Oh,
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. You're right. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
it was just that's also a really crazy good movie. He was a baseball player.
Yes, yes, it was so good. Um,
My Life is the one. No, oh my God, I just got cold chills. Look, if y'all can see it, I just got cold chills. My Life is the one where he had cancer and he starts making videos. He's terminally ill. Maybe it's not cancer. I don't remember. It's him and Nicole Kidman, and they find out he's only got so long to live. Well, then she gets pregnant, and he starts making video for his kid. He's like showing him how to shave and all this, and but he ends up living longer than what they gave him to live. And it'll punch you in the chest, man. It grabs your heart and squeezes it because like he's making you see him making these videos for his son. But then he ends up living longer than what he was supposed to. So he gets to be with his son and he actually grows old. And you go from him making these videos, and they're kind of funny at the time, on teaching his son how to shave to him being old and his son actually shaving him. It's just like it's so, dude. That's an emo movie, boy. You better be ready for some popcorn and some doggone. That's a good one. That's a
and
really good one.
popcorn and some tissues. You're saying?
Yeah, man.
You
What
know,
is it?
I
What Hank
told.
Hill said? Uncle Hank, they make cookie ice cream with the cookie dough already in it. Well, damn, sister, get me my keys.
I
Give me
told
my cookie
somebody.
dough.
I told somebody just the other day. I know you're going to understand this when I say this. I said, "Do you know how to tell when you're getting older?" And they said, "No, how?" I said, "Because you get emotional and teary eyed when you're watching the end of the Return of the King, and Aragorn is telling people Aragorn is telling the hobbits, "No, my friends, you bow to no one." And everybody starts bowing to the
Right?
hobbits, and like
Man, can
I'm sitting
Vigo
here,
really sing like that too? And he's like,
I have
Mary. It's like,
no
what?
idea, but I'm sitting here pushing 50 years old. I'll be 50 in May. And I sit there, every time I watch that movie at the end of it, it gets me every single time. I'm like, why?
Oh, dude,
Why am I tearing up over this?
there's a lot of them to get me. I was about to mention one that really tears me up because of my past too, but I was going before I do that though. I forgot about Desperate Measures. Remember where he played the psycho bad guy?
Yes.
Desperate Measures was great, but he was in a movie with oh, one of my OG loves from the '80s, Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's
Well,
called The Story of Us.
that would be two movies in because he did Batman 2 or Batman Forever or Batman Returns with her too.
That's right, because she was the best Catwoman too. I don't care.
Uh huh.
But yeah, The Story of Us, it's about them. No, you know what? That wasn't him. That wasn't him. That wasn't
Oh, it
him.
wasn't.
It was not. It was Bruce Willis. It wasn't Michael Keaton. That's my fault. That was Bruce Willis and her.
Okay,
But that's
Travis
an
is now
amazing movie.
fired. Travis is now fired from all research times. He can't. He has
I'm
got
not
it
researching.
incorrect.
I'm just going off the top of my head for that one.
Travis is fired from going off the top of his head from this point forward. No more. Did you know? I'm gonna get one or two more of these out here. Then we're gonna go ahead and wrap up since we're pushing close to an hour. We're gonna give people a break since we went long the last two times.
Right?
uh, Kim Basinger, the original choice to play Vicky Vale, but her agents wouldn't let producer John Peters meet with her unless he made her an offer, and then she ended up being busy. So Sean Young was cast instead. But when Young broke her collarbone while practicing horseback riding for a scene set on the grounds of Wayne Manor and had to drop out of the movie, Basinger received an emergency call 1 week before the commencement of filming and accepted the part.
Huh.
We almost didn't have Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. Sean Young, I can't see Sean Young playing. It wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah. Uh-uh.
When I think of Sean Young back in that time, I think of that movie with Kevin Costner. She had short hair, short brown hair. She was in a branch of military. It may have been Navy.
That
There's
wasn't doggone. That wasn't the Postman, was it?
no, no. I can't think of the name of the movie. I'm not even going to try to say the name of the movie because I can't come up with it. But I remember seeing at just one point. I remember him and her getting out of a limo with somebody else, and it's just I watched it once, and that was it. It wasn't exactly my kind of movie.
Yeah.
But shoot, now I have to know. So, of
You know what?
course,
Keaton was also Keaton revised I just thought of this. Keaton revised the Vulture, Adrian Toomes in Morbius. He was in Morbius for a minute.
yeah, at the very end of it, where he gets when I guess what he's at is he at a prison at this point,
Yeah, yeah.
and
It seems like he was.
he meets up with Morbius, and then they talk about going after Spider Man.
Yeah,
And then you just get done watching
and then they're
Morbius
in the
being
same
like a
world,
hero,
and then they're in the same. I guess you'd say cinematic universe as Venom. So that might be a lot of fun right there because Morbius Morbius is kind of an anti-hero. You know
right?
what I mean? He flops back and forth in the comics between good and bad. So that might be a cool prospect.
Well, but if they go with there's a group of people. It's not just it's Morbius, Vulture, and a couple others, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Who are
Before we go, I know we got to go real quick, real soon, but check this out. All right, so if they're using the new Flash movie which we are all convinced that they are using this to basically reset the DC EU, I think they're
right?
calling it. Okay, is is Keaton Batman now? Like, is he now Batman? Are they going to merge the? You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Because they
okay.
need Kara L, and they're not using Henry Cavill to come back as Superman, so Kara L is going to be
Here's
Supergirl.
here's a good question for you on what you're saying though.
Ooh,
Michael
ooh,
Keaton is
ooh,
also older
ooh,
as Batman in this movie. Okay,
ooh, ooh.
will they go the route of replacing him with the new Batman since he's older and can't do the role as much anymore? to continue the story of Batman down the road.
Maybe. You know what I want? I want Nightwing.
That would be a fun movie to watch. Don't care what anybody says. Alan, by the way, I do this all the time. No Way Out was the movie with Sean Young a while ago. By the way, that I could
Okay.
not think of. Um,
This may be so I could live with it. If they do it with Damien. I don't want Dick Grayson. I don't want another Dick Grayson. And I don't want the dude that Joker beat with the crowbar. I would have to have it. I can't even remember his name. Um, I would want it to be Damian Wayne. So, he's the son of Talia al Ghul and Bruce.
right.
So if they were to pull that off, I'd have to have it be
But
Damian
he didn't play
Catwoman.
Batman though. He played Robin, right?
Now he was Robin, but he took up the mantle as Robin now because he's a kid, but he has posed as Batman or tried to pose as Batman in Batman's absence before, and then actually Dick came back and did that. He donned the costume for a little while. I forgot which story that was, but he came back and was Batman while Batman was missing. So him and Damian were looking for Batman. But even though Damian is Robin, I would want to see him pick up the mantle as Batman. Like
What was
if we're gonna continue Batman, you know what I'm saying?
what was the name of the guy? No, not the. I mean, what was the name of the character that took over as the new Batman though when Batman was too old to carry on? It was Terry something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Peter Todd was the second Robin because the second Batman was
No, it
blonde,
wasn't.
wasn't he?
It wasn't Peter Todd. It was Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Because
Peter
Jason
Todd.
Todd went on to play the
Jason Peter
the Red
Todd.
Mask. I think it was the Red Mask. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Well, in Titans, yeah.
but Jason
Which
Todd
Titans
was the
follows
first.
Titans follows the comic book too. I mean, they all follow it
Yeah,
basically.
but anyway, all right. Well, I mean, Batman the movie, great movie. I loved it. I mean, it's one of those things that now that I've watched it, I went and bought the set of the older ones from the '80s and into the '90s. So I'll be watching them more and more now that I have them.
Right.
But I
Yeah, I
really
was at
enjoyed it.
Dick
Uh,
became Batman when they thought Batman was dead and Damian was his Robin. But I remember what you're talking about is a blind guy that took over. That was in the comics.
oh, I didn't get much into the comics at that point though, so I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What? But before we go, of the four movies back then, Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, which one was your favorite of the four?
By default, it has to be the first one. But honest to God, I absolutely love Batman Returns. Um, the Catwoman dynamic, and Danny DeVito was absolutely disgusting and appalling as the Penguin, and I love the way he did that. But yeah, I got to say by default, it's got to be the first one because that's the birthplace.
So now, which one was the first one Robin was introduced? Batman Forever.
Yes, that was Chris
Okay,
O'Donnell.
so I'm going to go with Batman Forever because when I was younger, growing up, being a huge fan of the Super Friends,
Hmm.
and of course loving Scooby Doo and having Batman and Robin on there. To me, in like the old TV series, it was always Batman and Robin, not just Batman, but Batman
Right.
and Robin. So when they finally brought Robin into the mix, to me that was cool. And then you eventually, I think it was the next movie, they brought in Alicia Silverstone to play Batgirl.
Yeah, and I love all of them to be honest. It's hard for you to make a comic book movie that I'm not gonna love because I'm so forgiving with it, especially knowing being a comic book nerd that grew up on comic books.
Mm-hmm.
They can be silly. It can be anything. It just depends on who's writing the story that week. You know what I mean? So
Right.
these can be anything that the directors want them to be. We need to love and appreciate it as fans. But I thought that the dynamic between Val Kilmer and Chris O'Donnell was better than Clooney and Chris O'Donnell. I'll come out and say it.
Yes.
I think Clooney was the worst Batman for sure.
Yes. Val Kilmer has at least the appearance and the feel of somebody who is that awkward millionaire kind
And
of
he could
guy The
He
kind
could
that would just
convey.
the kind that would go out like Ben Affleck does in the later movies and just buys the bank that has the the
100%.
foreclosure on
Yeah. How'd you
Superman's
get the
mom.
farm back? I bought the
Yeah,
bank.
I bought the bank. It's a
Yeah.
reflex.
Yeah,
You know.
the other thing too, though, was that Val is able to all of the actors that they've had play Batman so far can do so much with their eyes, and Clooney can't. To me, when
Yeah.
you hire George Clooney, you're getting George Clooney. But with Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, even the deaf Batman, Christian Bale, and oh my God, him as Gore, that is the best performance he is. Oh, dude,
Okay, hold on, hold on.
that
Is he the deaf Batman or the blind Batman? You told me he was the blind Batman.
he's the blind Batman.
You
Hey,
just
did I
said
say
the
deaf?
deaf.
He's
You
deaf
said
and
deaf
blind.
Batman.
Deaf,
He's
dumb, and blind. That's right. He's Christian Braille. Remember,
Christian
he couldn't
Bale.
even see the guy. That's where he had the tirade. He was on the set of Batman when he cussed the key grip out.
Yeah.
Don't walk in front of my line of sight. But back to what I was saying though, all of them, Ben Affleck included, they can convey so much emotion through their eyes alone.
hmm
And like we were talking about last week, um, the way that oh, dude, punch me in the face.
Don't
When we
tempt
had
me,
Mary Catherine and come on,
Lance.
Lance, thank you, golly bum. So the way we were talking about Lance does with his facial expressions.
Right.
So the way that the dynamic between Batman and Robin, him taking him in and trying to curb his anger and his wish for revenge, the whole dynamic to that story was a lot better.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up. Everybody, if you want to catch the show, you know where to catch us at on the podcast areas. We are on iTunes. We are on Spotify. Those are our two major areas that we cover right there that we're listened on. But you can catch us on Stitcher. You can catch us on Podbean. You can get us on iHeartRadio, Google Music, Amazon Music, or whatever it's called there. We are hosted currently on anchor.fm/retro life for you. If you go there, you can participate in any questions or polls that are on there, as well as help support the podcast and everything. Uh, Best thing you can do if you want to help support us, though, is like I've said time and time again, share us with your friends and family, and make sure you give us a follow as well as a review and a rating if you're listening on iTunes. Spotify allows you to give us a star rating too. So if you're listening there, please think about giving us a rating as well. And it does help us get in front of the people out there and seen and recognized and helps put us up the ladder a little bit. So we hope you enjoyed the show. We got a good one coming for you next week. We are going to be following up. Oh, no, actually, I take that back. That will actually be out last week by this time. I'm ahead of myself right now. I'm not used to being ahead, everybody. I'm not used
Uh
to it. I'm so not used to it. So I'm not telling you what comes after this now, just because he laughed, and because I
right.
know, and because I don't know. So thanks for listening, Travis. I'm
I
glad
got
you were
two.
able to be on here.
Yeah, but
Uh,
real quick, I got two questions for you and everybody.
yeah.
Why does Batman wear only dark colors?
Why?
That's easy, man. It's because he don't want to get shot. Okay, so why does Robin only wear bright colors?
Why?
That's another easy one, man. Because Batman don't want to get shot.
Later, everybody.